Hello, Rockwall. It's Darby here at the Chamber, and I am joined with our Chairman of the Board, Ms. Katie Miller, and Rockwall's newest City Councilwoman, Anna Campbell, today. Thank you for joining in to the Pulse. I want to share with you, we've got another virtual edition, hopefully next week, our State of the City. Please keep in touch with our calendar on Facebook and on our website to stay in touch with when these events will be. We're producing virtual events for you weekly, sometimes 2 to 3. So keep in touch with us. So welcome, Anna, today with us. We're excited you're here.
Thank you for inviting me.
You bet. Well, tell us a little bit about your background for those of our members that do not know you.
Well, I am currently, I've been an educator for 20 years, over 20 years in Rockwall ISD. And I started my teaching career at Dobbs Elementary School, for those of you that are from Dobbs. And taught there for a few years, moved on up to Williams Middle School, and have currently been at Rockwall High School for about 13 years. And in that span of time, I've taught bilingual ed, love those little babies, and then moved up to Spanish and ESL, and the AVID program, and I'm currently teaching Spanish.
Wonderful. So you mentioned the AVID program, and I know that is such a great program for students to get connected to their professional goals and what's next for them after college. Do you want to share with the community a little bit more about what the AVID program is?
Absolutely. AVID is something that I help bring into the district. It's AVID stands for Advancement via Individual Determination. So what we do is we work with kids that are oftentimes first in their family to graduate from high school, or first to graduate from college, and in some cases I even had some that were first generation in this wonderful country of ours. And what I do is I help them find their passion, find what they're going to want to do in the future to become productive citizens of society. We facilitate them in developing a work ethic, and one of the exciting things that I love doing with the program is bringing in business leaders, community leaders, to speak with them about some of the things that they might be interested in. And it helps them get a good understanding. We've taken field trips out to different business sites, along with visiting different colleges. So it's a great program, and one of the things that I am super proud of is the fact that several of them have graduated or are about to graduate. I have some that are just starting college now, and we have everything from doctors to attorneys to entrepreneurs.
Wow.
I have a young lady who has a little internet business on selling jewelry, super proud of her. I have some that have continued serving their community, working in social work and counseling, and I even have a few that are now teachers. So they have followed the path. So anyways, it's a great program, and I love how it helps connect them as students to the community. And they're not afraid to get in there and explore and find out what's best for them in the future. Super program.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Absolutely sounds like it. And you are obviously making an impact. We see your Rockwall Spirit Cup
Absolutely.
there, given from your students with their names. So what a great thing.
So, you're obviously incredibly involved with the school district and really giving those kids passion and wanting them to grow and learn in their own fields, and then hopefully bring those skills and talents back to Rockwall. So, shifting perspectives here, what made you wake up one day and said, I want to be on city council?
Oh, that's a good way of phrasing it. Wake up one
Does
day.
anyone really wake up and say that?
Did you?
Well, actually, it was a phone call. I received a phone call from a couple of very close friends asking me to strongly consider taking this leap and applying for a position that just came open on the city council. And I've been actively involved for many, many years. But I did not, as currently being a teacher, did not think that I could or should, being that there's a huge time commitment, to jump into this arena. I waited and waited. It was about a 2.5 week time period from the time I initially got the phone call to receiving my final phone call and them saying, we really think that you need to do this. And so they pushed me to helping me with that, getting that application in. And about a week later, I came in for an interview with them. And their question was very simple. Why? Why do I want to be part of the City of Rockwall City Council? And my thought is, I have so much to give. I am a person that loves filling a need. And if there is a need, a place where I can be of service and share my experiences and my skills, then I want to be part of that and help the community grow. I had no idea coming into this a month and a half ago that I would be dealing with COVID and some of the social issues that have come onto my plate in the last month and a half. But honestly, it's been very exciting. I love being part of the decision-making process in the city. And I feel like hopefully, my fellow council members feel the same, that I'm helping make an impact on the city, a positive impact on the city.
Yeah, absolutely.
What's been your biggest surprise? I know we're only a month and a half into it, but what is something that's maybe way different than you thought it was going to be when applying?
Well, I don't want this to sound negative, because I didn't have a negative perspective on the city. To be honest, I didn't have any. I kept in contact with a lot of city officials, but I am blown away at the professionalism, the expertise, the knowledge that comes from our city officials and the professionals that are behind the scenes helping the council make the decisions. They are outstanding. They are outstanding, starting with our city manager all the way down. I cannot say enough wonderful things. They've been very supportive in my transition coming in, knowing that I'm coming from a totally different background than the majority of those that step into this position, and they've been super, super supportive, very professional, very knowledgeable. The city of Rockwall should be very proud to have those people taking care of their city business.
Yes, and we certainly are, and we're certainly glad that you're now helping to represent, community members in your role and being that decision maker. And so, Darby asked, what is surprising, when you got the call that said you're it, what was the first thing you thought, I definitely want to get this accomplished this year. This is on my to-do list, or this is what I want to be known for in my first year?
Well, there's so much out there. This is a great community. But like any community we live in, I don't care how wonderful it may be, there's still areas of improvement.
Right.
We can always be better. And one area that I would like to really touch on and help grow and support is the Latino community. I would love to help be a source, a liaison to them with the city, so that they can have a bigger voice within our community and help. There's so much to contribute from that community, from the Latino community. And the city as a whole would benefit so much from their input and their contributions to the city. So that's one of my big, you asked me about my goal. Well, my goal would be to help integrate and incorporate a lot of those members of that community into our decision-making process in the city.
Absolutely, and so important too, right? We definitely want to make sure that our community is well represented and that all of the voices are heard, and that we're,
right.
yeah, and that we're inclusive in the ways that we listen, and in the ways that we act. So that's wonderful. So we talked about what would be what your number one goal is. What's something that most people don't know about you?
Most people don't know. Well, those that do know me know that I'm not from here. I moved to Rockwall 30 years ago, and Rockwall is my home. I raised my kids here. I have two young men. They're not young anymore. They are young, but relatively. I have a 30-year-old and a 28-year-old, both born and raised in Rockwall, went through Rockwall ISD. They are now, I have one that lives in Austin, married to my beautiful daughter-in-law, Julie, and they've blessed me with my grandson, Theo, who I am his Lita, by the way. I'm not grandma. And,
those grandparent names are important.
That's right.
We know that.
And then Michael works for Toyota Rockwall, right here in Rockwall. And then I have my sweetheart and super supportive. He's been nothing but supportive to me, is my sweetheart Gary. And so that's my family. But where am I from? Something that they don't know about me, a lot of people may not know about me, is that I am from the Republic of Panama. And I'm from a little strip of land that was created by the United States government called the Canal Zone. And so I was born and raised there. My father's American, my mother's Panamanian. He called her his Panamanian princess. And they raised 3 children in Panama. And I came to the States when I was 13. I was one of those teenagers that just didn't acclimate very well to transitioning to a new country. So my parents were saints for having put up with me during that transition. And then I acclimating to the culture. I think that's one of the reasons that I was driven to teach and driven to be in the ESL program, is to help not only with language acquisition, but help with that transition of the culture. It's easy, it's super easy to just say, okay, here's your packet of paperwork, and here are your books, and here's your schedule. You're gonna sit in these classes, and the teachers are going wah, 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 and the kids have no idea what's going on. And I loved being part of the lives of the children while they were trying to acclimate and adjust to this new life. I spoke English. I went to American schools while I was in Panama and spoke English when I moved to the United States. So the language was not an issue for me, but the culture was. And so it's something that a lot of us don't think about when we think of our immigrant families coming here and the kids being enrolled in school and having to acclimate to a new lifestyle. It's a big transition for them. So anyways, what do they not know about me is perhaps the fact that I come from another country, and a country that I'm very proud to be, it's a culture I'm very proud to be part of. But I do want people to know, sometimes people say, wow, you're not American. Well, no, I am American. I was born from an American father, like I said earlier, so I am a proud American and very proud of my Panamanian culture as well.
That is great.
Well, we're glad you chose Rockwall.
Absolutely.
Yeah, very happy to be here, super happy to be here.
It sounds like the kids that you were able to impact could not ask for a better resource to be teaching and coaching them through that transition, because I cannot imagine how difficult that would be to be in another culture and the language barriers. So, fantastic. Katie, any other words?
So, we've talked a lot about where you came from and kind of what your goals were. At the end of this year, let's fast forward 365 minus a month and a half days. Looking back on it, what will happen for you to say that was a successful first year of council? I made the impact that I wanted to in the first year.
Oh, that's a good question. One of the things that I pride myself in is challenging my students to be able to think outside the box. And I'm hoping that I bring a unique perspective to City Council, and perhaps with that may come some opportunities for us to think outside the box and be challenged in the way we do things a little bit. Again, I cannot say enough wonderful things about our City Council and our staff. But we are being challenged in today's world with things that are difficult to handle. And we have a tendency to just want to say, wow, this is crazy. Why are you going? And to challenge us to think, sit down, take a pause, think about it, and perhaps not go off the deep end, but consider alternatives,
Right.
that are that would be good possibilities for growth in our community. I hope that I'm a positive influence in offering some creativity and thinking outside the box, challenging ourselves to be better and think outside the box.
That's just fantastic.
It is
to hear.
fantastic.
And so incredibly exciting. We're thankful that you are serving your community in this role on top of what you're already doing as an as a professional in the education industry and field. I can imagine that we'll have quite a few students who are more civically engaged, which I think is
so. I would
incredibly
love to
exciting.
see them
Yes.
be
Yeah,
part
I
of
think,
this, exactly.
engaging that younger generation into how does our city work, and what type of decisions do you guys have to make, and what responsibilities do you guys have in making sure that the city is going forward in a positive direction. I think it's going to be a great way to tie that younger generation to your work. So we're so very excited for you. As we wrap up, do you have any last words you want to share?
Well, I just want to thank you, first of all, for offering me this opportunity. You know, I'm brand new to this, it's a totally different mindset. And to have an opportunity to come in and speak and introduce myself to people that may not know me is an honor. So thank you very much for doing this. And I look forward to being involved in some of the exciting things coming our way and seeing where all this will take us in the coming years, especially this year with the challenges that are ahead of us and trying to start a new school year under this pandemic that we're currently in. And you can list several different hot issues right now that we're having to deal with. So
We're choosing to stay positive here at the Chamber. You know, we have over 750 partner businesses and organizations that are members of our chamber, and we hope that many more are watching with us today. If there are any businesses out there that want to partner with Ms. Campbell in her AVID program, I think it's a great opportunity to maybe introduce some new businesses to your students as well. And I would love to second the city staff, their leadership, and of course the council. We are fortunate as the Chamber and Visitor Center to be able to work with them, you know, on a continual basis, and we are very fortunate in our community. I have the opportunity to talk to many chamber peers in other communities who may not be quite as fortunate as having the leadership, the background, the professionalism that we do. So I will absolutely second that and thank them for all that they do in this community, especially during this time. So any other words, Katie?
Well, Anna, again, thank you so much for joining us. And for all of you who are listening in, thank you for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you at our next episode of The Pulse, where we discuss the state of the city.